firsthand literally yesterday. Again, 6 months later, we're in mid-August at this point. Yesterday went with a resident down to Leslie Run. So not even Sulphur Run, below Sulphur Run into Leslie Run. And doing exactly what you said, flipping rocks and whatnot, and clear, we've got it on video, clear rainbow sheen coming up from underneath that looks just like when I saw it back in February. And
And there's no urgency. Where is the sense of urgency to get those creeks and waterways cleaned? It should have been priority.
Mm-hmm.
It should have been priority. Yeah.
All of this could have been handled much quicker. And even if it's like, okay, we're still cleaning up town, right? Back in February, there was an opportunity for the EPA, for these agencies, to, on February 9th it was, because February 6th they do the detonation of all the vinyl chloride cars, when they essentially ended the evacuation order because it was safe, in their own words. Instead of just saying that blanketly without really knowing, they could have said, hey, we did some initial assessments. The devices we're using to get a rapid response like that are not perfect. We're not reading any high readings of anything. However, we don't actually know for sure. We're not going to tell you can't go home right now, but we don't know. So out of an abundance of caution, if you want to hold off on going home, we will reimburse you for XYZ. Instead, what they chose to do was what happened. Tell everybody, nope, it's safe to go home right now. So parents made the decision, okay, if the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, the ones who are supposed to be the experts in this sort of thing, are telling us, yep, it's safe to go home, it's safe to bring your kids home, it's safe to bring your pets home. So people, as I would have listened to them probably at that point too. Yeah. After going through this whole ordeal, I absolutely would not. Not that I went through it, but after, spending time with folks like you and trying to understand what it was like to go through this, I don't blame you and all of the other residents here who have a deep mistrust for all of these agencies at this point. Yeah.
I know that I kept my son away and our 2 dogs. I kept them away as long as I possibly could. My husband and I did. We stayed away roughly 3 weeks before we returned home. And I know when I returned home that our little town did not smell the same. You could still smell the chemicals in the air, and many of those chemicals were coming from the waterways. At that time, they were using those aeration machines, stirring the chemicals out. I know so many residents were ill when they returned home. It's criminal that they allowed families and children and pets and all of your friends and family and everyone that you love. You want to protect them. And the very agencies that are supposed to protect us and our environment and the people that live in those environments, they failed us. Yeah. And our government has failed us repeatedly. There's some things that I kind of compared to when we went through COVID and Governor DeWine. He locked down the entire state of Ohio during COVID. But he couldn't stand up and help get us declared a disaster. And we're only a community of roughly 5,000 people. He couldn't do that. And I believe that one day he will be held accountable. He will be held accountable because it's a crime. I believe, in my opinion, it's a crime that our own governor didn't help us. Until 5 months later?
Right.
5 months later. We're going on 7 months. It's pretty soon. It's going to be 7 months. I'm hearing through the grapevine because people in a small town talk. I'm just going to state this, that I'm hearing through the grapevine that they're more than likely going to be here for another 3 years cleaning up. That's what I've heard. I cannot confirm that. I'm also hearing through the grapevine that they've encountered a lot more contamination down there than just what has taken place with the Norfolk Southern chemicals from that. We were an industrial town.
Right.
Decades ago.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows what they've encountered down there as well.
Right.
But that's something that I think needs investigated and touched on.
Right.
Because if they're hiding things from the residents, it needs discussed.
Yeah.
It needs discussed.
Absolutely.
They could be possibly digging up things that we're all being exposed to, and
Right.
they're not telling us.
Right. Some of which could be related to this. Others of which could have been related to, industrial waste that was dumped or buried or whatever it may be years ago. And I mean, this rail line's been here for, I don't know the exact
over
100 years.
100
yeah,
years.
for sure.
Yes.
And I mean, contamination along railroad tracks, especially when you've got industrial buildings and whatnot, I would imagine is not uncommon. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just some information that I've been hearing through the grapevine over the last week or so now. That's something I wanted to touch on, and maybe you guys can start to investigate.
Yeah.
Because I truly feel that we're not being told 100% truth, that we've been kept in the dark about a lot of things, and it's wrong. It's wrong.
I want to ask you about, there was two things that you've kind of gotten in the mail recently. So first off, Norfolk Southern is spending their time on sharing what they've done to make it right. The top of this is Making It Right, a 6 months progress report on East Palestine, Ohio and surrounding communities. And then in addition to that, we have been seeing in some of the Facebook groups, a couple of residents texted me about this. There's some sort of letter that is coming from Norfolk Southern in some sense, a certified mail. They're making folks try to sign for it. Can you explain? I know you don't know everything about this, but can you explain what you know about this letter that's going around?
I do know that they tried to deliver a letter here yesterday to my husband, and he wasn't here to sign for it, so we don't have one physically in our hands, but we've seen another resident share one on Facebook yesterday. And it's a form letter from, we believe it's Norfolk Southern. We don't know if it's a scam, if it's someone that's just impersonating them. We don't know. We can't verify it yet. But it's asking personal health questions. It's a personal health questionnaire form they want you to fill out and return to them. That's a violation of your privacy and I believe HIPAA laws, medical laws. I don't know why anyone would willingly turn health information over to them in a letter. It's wrong. It's wrong. And then this nice little booklet that we received today, Making It Right, and I hate that slogan with a passion. Because like I said, I don't know how you possibly make it right for me or my family. Or my family and friends that I love and care about. Your lives are scarred forever because of this. You will never go another day for the rest of your life without thinking about this. Not one single day. And with me, it's every single minute. Since February 3rd, I have been living this. And I know I'm not the only one. I might be a little more vocal than others. I did take a step back because I was trying to make my mental health priority. And I know that there's other residents that are struggling as well. I would like to say that if you are struggling, please reach out for help. Because you are not alone. You are not alone. Speak to your doctor. They'll help you get in touch with a counselor or a therapist. Reach out to family and friends. People that you truly care about will support you. The ones that, walk away from you aren't truly your friends. But I have encountered so many loving, caring people through the last 6 months that truly do care. And I know you will too. Just reach out. Just reach out if you need help, okay? You can even come speak to me. Yep. I'd be glad, be glad to help you as much as I can.
Absolutely. No, I think that's really important because it's unfortunately kind of an overlooked element of all of this, and it shouldn't be. I mean, it's just as important. I guess unless there's anything else you wanna share, I really want to thank you for taking the time to talk with me again. But if you've got other things you want to share, please.
On the mental health aspect too, my dad was a Vietnam veteran, and when they returned home from Vietnam, they struggled. They didn't have the resources that many veterans have today. And even today, our veterans struggle. I realize now that when I was little, growing up, that my dad was suffering from PTSD. And my sister and I, we've discussed, you just feel, even if this was just a little minor part of what our dad experienced, being in a war. My heart goes out to our veterans. My heart goes out to our veterans. And I just want to thank them. I'm just heartbroken for our community. And I hope that we can heal somehow. But I do know that I won't be here as part of this community. I have to move on in order for my mental health to even possibly remotely get any better. Thank you guys for listening today. It means the world to me that you guys have been trying to help our community and keep our little small part of this world, keep a light on it and what we've all been struggling through. It truly does mean the world to me. And thank you guys.
No, thank you so much. And I mean, it's one of those, terrible, bittersweet things continuing to come back here, because I've met so many great folks like you and so many other people we've been talking to, but it is absolutely heartbreaking to continue to just hear how, frankly, terrible of a job the U.S. government, local officials, state officials, the company have done. None of you deserve this. You know that none of you deserve this.
No.
This is not the fault of anybody here, but you all are dealing with the absolute blunt end of it, and it's
aftermath. We're left to deal with the aftermath.
Yep.
And it's not just it's financial. The financial aspect of moving. We never intended on moving from our home. And now we're putting that gamble out there. Our retirement is gone. Our future plans are now gone. It's wrong. It's so wrong. And your home is, your biggest investment. It is your biggest investment. Well, after your family. Right. Your family comes first. Your family is your biggest investment. And then your home is supposed to be where you're safe, where you can be with your family. We're going to start over from scratch. And I don't know how I'm going to get through it. I find myself, I am literally sick to my stomach thinking right now that I won't be in my home. Sorry.
You're fine. No. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine needing to make that decision and go through it. But I know that you're strong, and you'll figure it out, and you'll get through it. And it's not going to be easy, but you know that it's going to be what's best for you and your family moving on.
Yeah. I've been told that I'm strong. I'm not strong. I have a strong God. And I have a strong faith. But all of, the anxieties and worries, I've been trying to place that in God's hands. That will be taken care of. And that we can support each other. My husband, my son. I have a wonderful mom and a wonderful sister and brother-in-law. And we have a good support system. And I'm very thankful and grateful to all of them and our friends and family. And people like you. And people like you that are supporting us too.